Yeah, Abadi Gani, Umoja, Abadi Gani, Kuji Chagulia, that's right. Abadi Gani, Ujima, come on now. Abadi Gani, Ujima, that's right. Abadi Gani, Dia, Abadi Gani, Kumba, Dio, Abadi Gani, Imani, yeah. When we say Abadi Gani, say Hazuri Sana, Mazuri Sana, but we saying something different and special on the 7 days a week at Kwanzaa time. Umoja Kuji Chagulia, Ujima Ujima, Nia Nakumba Na Imani are the 7 days a week at Kwanzaa time. Say it again now. Umoja Kuji Chagulia. Alright. Ujima Ujima. Mia Nakumba Na Imani are the 7 days a week at Kwanzaa time. Yeah. I'm gonna remember the principles that guide my life. In Guzo Samba, I'm gonna remember the 7 things that I live by. In Guzo Samba, in Guzo Samba, Umoja Kuji Chagulia, Ujima Ujima, Nia Nakumba Na Imani are the 7 days a week at Kwanzaa time. Dr. Ben and Dr. Jeffries, Mother McKenya, Dr. Ben and Dr. Chris Wilson, we want to thank you once again at Kwanzaa time. Every brother called Atiba, every sister named Sheba. Not only them, but also our ancestors get sequestered with us at Kwanzaa time. Say Umoja Kuji Chagulia, Ujima Ujima, Nia Nakumba Na Imani are the 7 days a week at Kwanzaa time. Yeah, I'm gonna remember the principles that guide my life. In Guzo Samba, we gonna remember the 7 things that we live by. In Guzo Samba, now you can buy us presents, but we'd rather have something that you made with your own hands. Individualism will not overstand, cause my family's happy and we're fine at Kwanzaa time. Yeah, I'm gonna remember the principles that guide my life. In Guzo Samba, I'm gonna remember the 7 things that I live by. In Guzo Samba, we gonna remember the principles that guide our life. In Guzo Samba, we gonna remember the 7 things that we live by. Hey, in Guzo Samba, in
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for bringing forth Brother Rudy Unwagozi. We want to give thanks for the seven principles Umoja, Kuji Chagalia, Ujima, Ujamaa, Nia, Kuumba, Imani. Unity, self determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, faith. Did I leave one out? Wosei Community Church is a community of the way. The way is Maat, truth, justice, and righteousness. We're glad to have you all here today. Our family here today, our extended family, our family across the nation, our family across the state of California. We're glad to see everyone here. We're looking forward to a great message from our minister today, Minister Bill Johnson. So before we get to our libation, let's play this libation video, and then we're going to have libation from one of my favorite people. I've known her a while, Sister Keisha. She told me, she clowned me. She says it's your fault we don't do all three verses. I said no, it's not. We used to just do the first and third. All right, here we go. Check. We're coming in for let's see. Yes, indeed. And then Key, if you could come in after this.
Pour libation for your mother and father who rest in the valley of the West. As you do for your parents, your children will do for you. Grand Rising will say another beautiful day that we are breathing. And we're breathing because of the beauty of the ancestors who came before us. 40 years we have been here. And at the very beginning, we understood and gave honor to our ancestors. There was a time that we opened every service with lighting the Nguzo Saba and pouring libation. 44 years ago, we never would have understood how much our people have grown and understood and understand the importance of our ancestors. We hear young people, we hear middle-aged people, we hear it in the theaters of people pouring libation and remembering and speaking about the glory of our ancestors. We have moved the needle. We have moved the needle. And so we thank those ancestors who helped us move the needle so that young people are not frightened by the word ancestors. They aren't thinking of what we used to have to go through because we, along with a lot of other organizations, pushed the needle on giving honor to those who came before us. This morning, it is an honor to follow the beautiful libation that Minister Imhotep prepared. He called the names in that beautiful libation of those who came before us at Wose, and those who came before us in general. And so I think I just would like to underscore the beauty, the graciousness, the glory of those on whose shoulders we stand. We cannot underestimate how much we owe to them. We cannot underestimate the power within each of us that derives from those. So this morning, I'd like to pour libation to some of those whose names we will never know. Those people who worked and studied and listened and created in Africa so that we could have the beautiful fabrics, so we could understand spirituality, so that we could stand on their shoulders and understand the greatness that they had right there in Africa that the world tried to say was savage. They were the savages. Our ancestors were the great ones. So I'd like to pour libation to all those creators in Africa whose blood is within us, whose power is within us. And I say, come and be with us, strong and powerful and creative ancestors. Ashe.
Ashe.
I'd like to pour libation then to those who had folks stolen from them. Uh-oh, there's a fly in here. Those who remained in Africa and their children and their young people were ripped from them and taken away, and they never saw them again. Their blood is within us also. Those mothers who cried, those fathers who wailed because their children were gone. We pour libation to those because they had to stand the pain that no one will know about. And so we say, strong ancestors who withstood the stealing of your children, come and be with us. Ashe. And then we pour libation for those children who were put on those ships and sent to the Americas and sent to Asia and sent all over. The ones who made it and the ones who couldn't make it. Every one of us who says, I know an ancestor from here, there, or the other place, you're talking about someone whose strength and perseverance allowed them to cross that ocean and go wherever it was and establish a new life. And we pour libation to them because we don't know the pain. We don't know. We cannot imagine how horrible that was. But they made it, and because they made it, we are here. And we say to those who crossed oceans in those ships, come and be with us and teach us that perseverance and that strength. Help us to keep that alive. And I say, Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe, come and be with us.
Then, of course, we have to pour libation for those who withstood chattel slavery like the world had never known. Those of us whose mothers and grandmothers and forebearers were violated any time. They persevered. They were strong. They didn't kill their offspring, even though many of them wanted to. But that love of people and that desire to live and grow, that's within us. And so we say to all those mothers and sisters and aunties who had to go through that horrible experience, teach us how to withstand difficulty and get through it, and get through it, and get through it. Because their strength, their beauty, their resilience is within each one of us. And we say, come and be with us, Ashe.
Ashe, come and be with us.
And then as we get closer to ourselves, those grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers and great-grandfathers, on and on and on, who labored in this country and were so creative, who invented so much, who against all odds got education. Some of them had to teach themselves to read, and they taught themselves. And they, as soon as they were able to, they sent their children to learn. They had the big joke: you're free in a money economy with no money. And they said, well, you might think it's a joke and we don't have any money, but we're going to make it anyway. That determination, that love of people is within us. And we say, thank you. Be with us. Don't ever let us forget how strong we are, how creative we are, how wise we are, how inventive we are. Don't ever let us forget that, no matter what the media throws at us. We thank all of those ancestors who invented and had the invention stolen, who created and had the creation stolen. But we say to them, thank you. Let that love of people, of wisdom, of learning be with us as we know it is. And we say, Ashe.
Ashe.
And to all of our
come and be
people,
with us.
from millennia to now, to those whose names are in our heart today, we say, Ashe. We
Ashe.
say, thank you. We say, come and be with us, and never let us forget that we are truly the most beautiful people because of your work, because of your creativity, because of your love of people. We say to our ancestors, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we continue our service today, and as I look on the screen, I see my friend Mama Fania. I see Chandra Flores. She's a new member. Glad that she was able to make it today. We have Sabrina the songstress today, Mama Ingina, Mama Rose, Sister Shamila, John Jackson. John told me he didn't have such an easy night, but he's with us today. Katabasi, you just said, hey, I'm still here. I'm going strong. My heart is strong. Give thanks for that. Give thanks for Tony. You guys know, he knows who I'm talking about. All right. Right now, we're going to have announcements. And I have a few, so let's just jump right in here and look at these announcements. And then if there's some other ones afterwards, we can look at those as well. So announcements. I think I had the date right, December 8th. Of course, as Sister Saraswati, Mama Saraswati, uh, led us in prayer. She just gave us a sampling of what we experience on Mondays and Fridays. If you would like to join us for intercessionary prayer, Monday and Fridays, 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, uh, and we go to 6. Sometimes we go just a little over, but if you'd like to join us, we're just giving you that reminder. And you'll have to um, come on this Zoom. The Zoom number is 862-7044-3742. And I'm trusting that someone will put that in the chat for us, or you can join us by phone, 699-449171. Right now, this weekend, the ASCAC Western Region Conference is going on. And so it's happening. I think it begins on Sunday at 12:30. And I don't have the flyer right now, but these are the meeting rooms. So just go to if you're interested in being a part of that. Just go to ASCAC Western Region Conference 2024, and I'm sure they have something that will direct you there. This tomorrow, Sacramento Elders Meeting begins at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's on the Black Knowledge Matters Zoom. And we invite, you don't have to be a Sacramento elder to participate. We invite you to come and join and participate with us. You might have some suggestions. There might be a commission that you would like to become a part of to help get the work that must be done. Also, we want to congratulate our sister Isali. She passed her board exams for holistic nurse baccalaureate. She's a board certified a member now. So we want to give her congratulations for that. I'm going to keep going. Black Knowledge Matters on Wednesday, 5 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Today at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in Oakland, Damu Sudi Ali Quintet will be performing at 55 Washington Street in Jack London Square. That's Damus Sudi Ali Quintet, and he's paying a tribute to Kenneth Bird and Kamal Sietu. Some of you may remember Kamal with Ancestral Wisdom, and he was married to Sister Kuji Chagalia, father of those twins. So that's today at 3, from 3 to 5, 55 Washington Street, Jack London Square in Oakland. Ujima, Collective Working Responsibility, will be the night that Wose Sacramento will be hosting Kwanzaa. That's a Saturday night, and it's going to be at the Roberts Family Center beginning at 6 p.m. Bring a dish to share. Also, there's, I believe that she's still, Darnisha is still taking people that want to go on her trip, beginning on December 19th through the 30th to Ghana. So reach out to her, 510-501-7550, or email her at info@ubuntu1865.com. I received these. This is in Stockton, California. On January 11th, there's going to be a Martin Luther King celebration. in Stockton, and it starts at at the Stockton Fairgrounds. Starts at 1 p.m. Also on Black History Month, Black Expo, the Convention Center on J Street in Sacramento on President's Day, Monday, February 17th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Let's see. Ashe. Now I see some things in the chat. So let's see. Maybe these are announcements. All right. The women of Wosay will be following Black Knowledge Matters on Wednesday, December 11th, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. And let's see. All right. Thank you. Love Supreme Prayer. Thank you, Mama Zarita, for putting the Zoom ID in there. And I think that's it. All right. And now, next on our schedule, we're going to have our affirmations by Mama Celeste, Baba Ed Lucas.
We'll say community affirmation. We will know God's truth to be free and self-determined.
Creator, help us to remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors, and to honor the struggles of our elders.
Let us strive to bring new vision and life to our people. Let there be peace and harmony among us.
Let us be loving, sharing, and creative. Let us work, study, and listen so we may learn, teach, and cultivate self-reliance.
Grant us power, O Holy One, as we struggle to resurrect our hearts and our homeland.
We will raise our children according to the needs of our nation, with discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will strive to be the living models of the new direction of our people.
We are an African people.
We are children of God.
Ashe.
All right. Thank you. And now we're going to have a song by our sister, Sabrina Hawker. And we're getting prepared and we're getting situated for that.
Windows Zoom meeting. Sabrina the song starting narrator dialogue. Sabrina the participant list. Use arrow key to navigate. Windows search all window. Search list. Edit. No items found.
Meanwhile, if you can, take a look in the chat. We stumbled into a new Zoom feature that may be giving us a little grief. Take a look in the chat to see kind of how that works.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can now.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay. I was trying to turn on my video.
You're on. We see you.
Oh, good. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let me. Good morning, Jose.
Good morning.
Thank you. Sorry for that glitch. Okay, I've chosen a song to sing because in today's world, I've chosen this song, I should say, because in today's world where so much is going on, so many humans view negatively or as bad, it can be a challenge to stay positively focused. But we can choose. So whenever, and this is a wonderful space I thank you all. That was a wonderful space a wonderful positive space to stay focused. And so when we leave this space, we can keep this same vibration. And when we're challenged with staying focused in a positive way, and there's an old saying that says life is what, 10% of what happens to you and 90% of our view or perspective about what happens. So we can choose to view it positively. And sometimes it just takes finding something that makes us smile. A small child playing, nature, a pet, a good movie, or a beautiful song like this one called Smile. It's an old Nat King Cole tune. I'm going to start the music. I'm sure, hopefully it comes through. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fears and sorrows, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Smile on your way to gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Turn the music up a little. Yes, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just
All right. Give thanks for that song.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you, Sister Sabrina.
Right.
It's a
Give thanks.
pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Now we have our historical tribute. Sabrina, I'm going to put you on. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
In the years before the Civil War, terror often gripped white Americans in the South. More than anything, they feared an uprising of the people they held in bondage. The Knights of Liberty, a top-secret, all-black militant organization, prepared to justify their fears by launching the largest enslaved rebellion in American history. But before they could revolt, secret orders called them off. I'm Joel Cook, and this is Rogue History. It all began in August of 1846, when a traveling barber named Moses Dixon convened a secret meeting in St. Louis, Missouri, to, as he would put it, prepare for business. His plan called for the infiltration of the southern states to recruit and train men who were courageous, patient, temperate, and possessed of sound common sense. Recruits were required to take an oath of secrecy until death. After 10 years of training, these Knights of Liberty would launch a war on slavery. The participants in this St. Louis meeting, made up of Dixon and 11 trusted friends, would come to be known as the Order of 12. These 12 men spread out across the South to establish the Knights of Liberty. But even as they chipped away at this 10-year plan, they made an immediate impact on the Underground Railroad. In a 1901 Denver Post interview, Dixon stated that the Knights operated a network capable of moving freedom seekers all across the United States. Disguise was often part of their success. In one case, Dixon rescued a mother and daughter from Louisiana by coordinating tailors and barbers to disguise them as sailors. A fellow Knight of Liberty snuck them onto a steamboat as part of the crew, and they successfully made their way to freedom in Canada. In the same interview, Dixon said that the Knights of Liberty had an unbreakable telegraph code that remains hidden to this day. But we do have evidence of coded language from other underground resistance groups who operated during the same time period. The African Mysteries, a group based in Detroit, Michigan, communicated with freedom seekers through what we would know today as call signs. One nonverbal signal required a person to touch the knuckle of their right index finger to the knuckle of their left. The other person would respond by reversing the signal left to right to confirm that they were also part of the organization. But while groups like the African Mysteries were focused on escaping from the South, the Knights of Liberty wanted to seize land for Black people in the South. The plan was to attack Atlanta and form a stronghold of Black resistance. Moses Dixon's plans for a separatist state were rooted in life experience. His parents were born into slavery, and as a boy, he survived race riots in Cincinnati intended to drive Black people out of the city. He learned that Black liberation was needed by any means necessary, and would come to know exactly what that meant when he lived through Nat Turner's rebellion. On August 21st, 1831, Turner and at least 40 compatriots launched a bid to end slavery by attacking several plantations in Southampton County, Virginia. While it was never truly clear what Turner's plan was, the rebels executed 55 people before being stopped by state and federal militias. Black people suffered the consequences of the rebellion, with hundreds being beaten and murdered across the South. Slave patrols, formed by state and local militias, began an early version of stop-and-frisk policing, and laws known as slave codes prevented enslaved people from gathering in large numbers, traveling without permission, or testifying in court. None of this was lost on the Knights of Liberty as they prepared for their own revolution. In discussing the secrecy needed for them to succeed, Moses Dixon wrote, "We know of the failure of Nat Turner and others. Previous rebellion leaders struggled with stealth and planned for just weeks or months without building a real infrastructure to support their operations. Dixon gambled that a large army with 10 years of training gave them a real chance. Now, they just needed funding. To raise money for his secret plan, Dixon appealed to sympathetic abolitionists in the North and the South. They willingly donated thousands to Dixon's Underground Railroad work, unaware that they were funding a revolution. By 1856, they had everything they needed to launch their war against slavery. But when the time finally came, they didn't strike. As Moses Dixon surveyed the landscape, it became clear to him that a civil war was coming whether the Knights initiated it or not. Not far from his home in St. Louis, anti-slavery and pro-slavery guerrillas were already fighting a civil war along the Missouri-Kansas border. Dixon recognized that a larger movement was forming and decided to wait. But not everyone accepted the order to call off the rebellion. From Texas to Louisiana, and eventually all the way to Maryland, uprisings and rumors of uprisings struck terror among the slaveholders in the fall of 1856. But Dixon was vindicated when Confederate forces officially started the U.S. Civil War in 1861. Almost immediately after the start of the conflict, Black Americans began providing intelligence to the Union Army about the Confederates. coded broadly as Black Dispatches. This information could come in the form of debriefs from the people who escaped the Confederacy, or from missions specifically orchestrated by the Union Intelligence Office. But Black people weren't officially allowed to join the Union Army until 1863. So who was the Intelligence Office working with? Because the Knights of Liberty maintained strict secrecy, there are no documents confirming their participation in the early years of the war. But there are lots of coincidences. Take the Loyal League, for example. This all-Black spying organization was formed at an Ohio convention in 1851, not far from Dixon's hometown. When the Civil War began, this League of Black spies hit the ground running because they already had a strong communications network operating all over the South. Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Though the armed rebellion didn't play out the way they planned, the Knights' work was not in vain. The network Moses Dixon built remained intact after the war, transitioning into a mutual benefit society known as the International Order of 12 of Knights and Daughters of Tabor. Dixon played a major role in organizing schools for Black Americans in St. Louis and served as a founding member of what is now Lincoln University of Missouri, one of the oldest historically Black universities in the nation. After his death in 1901, his legacy continued on through the Taborian Hospital in Mountain Bayou, one of the first hospitals in the country with an all-Black staff. Whether through clandestine means, like those used on the Underground Railroad, or the violent insurrections that moved the United States closer to a reckoning with slavery, there has been a continuous through line of Black agency and organizing from this country's founding through the present day. We'll never know what would have happened if Moses Dixon and the Knights of Liberty had launched their own war on slavery in 1856. But what their plans do tell us is that the narrative that Lincoln and the Union Army freed the enslaved doesn't even begin to tell the entire true story of African American emancipation.
Wow. Wow.
That's what
Give
I'm
thanks
talking
for
about.
that. You know what? That's one of the things that Dr. Asa Hilliard says. He says we need to tell the story of our resistance. You know, and that is, I'm sure, Minister Bill, if you could just drop that video in the chat, I'm sure everybody would like to have that in their collection. That's a wonderful. Yeah, I got some thumbs up. That's a wonderful historical tribute, and I got a lot of positive feedback in the chat, Sabrina, for that song, with Nat King Cole's song "Smile," and a lot of times we can lift up our spirits just by doing that, just by smiling. And now we're going to have another selection by Sabrina the songstress.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Let me get my microphone. This song is really in line with our third principle of Ujima, collective work and responsibility. I know you all know this song by our ancestor Bill Withers. Lean on me. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road, and I'll share your load. If you just call me, everybody say it, call me. If you need a friend, call me on the phone, call me. Call me, Eugenia. Call me, call me. Lean on me.
All right, all right. WOSE. All right, where the music lives. Give thanks and praise for that song today. Lean on me. I'm not old enough to remember who was the first person to sing that, but I'm sure some of you do. All right.
Yes, you are.
Thank you
Bill
again.
Withers.
Oh, Bill Withers. Oh, okay. I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's still Bill.
Give thanks. Give thanks for that. And thank you, Brother Sebastian, for putting that video in the chat, the historical tribute video in the chat. That's great. I saw someone put. They said I had never heard of that. Those brothers. All right, now we're going to. You know what? One of the 7 principles is Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own businesses, our community, and to make our brothers and sisters' problems ours to solve together. And this is the way that we do that. We're coming to the point for our litany of sacrifice, and none of the ministers are on salary. All donations go to the maintenance and upliftment of Wose community, and keep that in mind. So, if you're in Oakland, I was listening, and I heard, I think it was Mama Fanya said that our donations are down. We need to get we need to have more contributions, and the same thing in Sacramento. That's one thing we don't do enough. A lot of us don't come down on our knees and say, please, please, please. But we really do need the offering. And it's all to the cause of lifting up Wose. And now we're going to have Mama Fanya and Brother Katabasi come and give us the litany of sacrifice.
Good morning. We'll say good morning, Sister Fanya.
Good morning, Baba Katabasi.
Good. It's a pleasure to come before you and share in this litany of sacrifice. Minister Imhotep summed it up well.
Yes.
We do need support. And I'm of the opinion going forward, especially over these next 4 years, the way a lot of things are lining up, the Wose communities are going to be more important than ever in terms of being caretakers of the history and teaching that history, because there is an attack on suppressing and stifling out a lot of Black history. So we need to be around. We've been around for 44 years, and we're looking forward to another 44 years. So we do need contributions. I have a reading from the Hosea. It's on page 7, passage number 3. The 4 good deeds of the Creator. The first one, I created the 4 winds so that every person might breathe in his or her time and place. This is one of the deeds. I created the great flood for irrigation so that the humble might benefit from it like the great. This too is one of the deeds. I made every person like his or her fellow, and I did not command them to do evil. It was in their own hearts and mind which caused them to disobey that which I commanded. This too is one of the deeds. I made the hearts of men and women so that they would not forget the day of death, so that sacred offerings may be made to the divine powers of the districts. And this too is one of the deeds. Thus I have created the divine powers from my sweat and humankind from the tears of my eye. We give thanks from those readings. The litany of sacrifice. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We praise your name, O Amen Ra, for it is good. Umoja, unity. We shall strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Kujichagulia, self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities together. Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Together we shall build and maintain our own businesses and together profit from them.
Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the building and development of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness.
Kuumba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it.
Faith. We shall believe with all our hearts in our God, our people,
and in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Ashe.
Ashe.
So listed are the places where donations can be sent Wose Oakland. Online payments can be made through Wose Oakland, wosecommunity.org, and then to our mailing address on Homley Street and Wose Sacramento to wosesac.com and their P.O. Box in Sacramento. And I just want to add that any amount is appreciated. It all adds up and it all keeps our communities going, and not just to pay bills and keep the lights on, that also to keep the community together, for us to support each other. And whether it's good times or not so good times, we as African people need each other, need to be in community. Sure.
And I'll close with just a short prayer. Oh, Holy One, Divine Creator, we thank you for these contributions. We thank you for those that gave. We thank you for those that wanted to give and weren't able to give. We thank you for all of those that give, those that have been given for the last 44 years, those that give of their time and give of their talent. We're grateful for all of these contributions, and we give thanks. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. All right, now comes the time for our message. And just before we get to that, I really like this picture of Minister here. He's got on his kente. And how long has it been, a Minister, since we've met? I remember Doris and I going with you and Rita to the firehouse in Old Sacramento.
Yes, it has been a while. And what, 2008, 2009, something like that?
And you know what? Minister Bill Johnson has been with us every step of the way, ever since he stayed. He touched his foot down in the door. Even on First Friday, he answered just about all the questions. If it wasn't for Celeste, we would have got wiped out. He was in the background helping with technical things with Sister Sabrina. So I'm really happy to bring him forward to proclaim the message today. And let's prepare our hearts and minds to hear the message from Minister Bill Johnson.
Thank you. And thank God for delivery, this church will say. Like many in will say, I spent a good while wandering around other places and not finding what I needed. Once I got to Sacramento, we'll say Sacramento, done. Okay, this is the place for our hearts and minds. This is the place where we worship the Holy Amun-Ra. So Grand Rising, we'll say, Grand Rising. I'm very glad to be back with family. Glad to hear we weren't especially damaged by that recent tsunami. We were spared. We pray for Amun-Ra's continued blessings for ourselves and all those who couldn't join us today. Today, I want to take a brief moment to thank my family again for one of the most reusable insights I've ever gotten. When I was chasing my tail, trying to figure out what, which, and how, Wose family reminded me to ask why. So today, I want to walk through the more widely known 5 whys process. Let's see where we get. Last Sunday, at our anniversary, Baba Jahi pointed out a question deemed worthy of doctoral study. He called us to consider What is Wose? Now, we know that was not Baba Jahi's first lesson. And good teachers, like good poets, often layer multiple lessons in just a few words. So very likely, Baba Jahi meant more than just that one question. He could have said, worthy of a college course. Could have said, worthy of a master's thesis. But he said, worthy of doctoral study. So why? Why did he specifically call out a doctoral question? As we rehear our lead educator, once skilled in the rhetorical arts, we should understand his lesson as deftly layered, with both direct explicit messages and subtle implicit messages. As an educator skilled in the persuasive arts, Baba Jahi knows the most persuasive message is not the one beaten in with a raised bludgeon, but the message which rewards a listener with treasures revealed in their own thoughtful exploration. So we're going to explore a bit today. He offered the question, what is Wose? But why? Why did he call out a bus driver and a DJ? What was the bigger underlying question layered between the lines? Now work with me. Think I figured it out? I need you to check, because we all know any serious work is peer reviewed. Okay? So Baba Jahi wasn't talking to just any random audience. He knew he was talking to this church, Wose. Yes, this church, Wose. He was talking with this church, where the eminent Obitashaka, leader in the nation's first and most prominent Black Studies department, who literally wrote the book about our beloved El Hajj Malik Shabazz, and told us directly that as great as Malcolm was, he was the creation of a family and community, one that modeled courage for him daily through their leadership in Marcus Garvey's UNIA, one that supported him through his incarceration and all of his life. Baba Jahi was talking with this church, with the people who heard Maulana Karenga when his interviewer said, us didn't invent Kwanzaa, you invented Kwanzaa. To which Maulana said, no, us did. And history demands that we see all great things are collectively produced. Baba Jahi was talking with this church, where it is widely known that not only did Martin Luther King Jr. preach at Ebenezer Baptist Church, he grew up in that church community, with his father preaching there. The church community his father had led after his mother's fathers joined the ancestors. In this church, Wose, we know that our first collective work and responsibility, our first Ujima, is to raise our children according to the needs of our nation, with discipline, with patience, devotion, and courage. So when Baba Jahi spoke to this church about a bus driver and a DJ, we know he was leading us to that mirror where we can clearly see that a bus driver is concerned with much more than just getting himself to the destination. He's working to get all of us to our destination.
Say it.
Like Minister Malley often reminds us from the Hosea, helmsman, do not let your ship go astray.
Yeah.
In this church, we are thankful for the very brief time we have to continue the work of creation, to build good in the world. As an African people, whether it's a work song at the fields or the rails, or a ring shout in church, we know good vibrations are essential to good work. So we must have a DJ. Now, we'll say that meant not just any DJ, but one with the right perspective and attitude to establish harmony, right order, and truth. The official party arranger for the historic Black Panther Party, Minister Bill Calhoun. Ashe, ashe. So, backing up, what does all that have to do with a doctoral question? It has to do, we'll say, because a doctorate and the whole process is a very collective responsibility. It is the university's collective responsibility to construct valuable new knowledge. That's quite difficult work. Not everybody's ready for it, and few can even get ready for it. PhD students must work with an advisor and must assemble a whole committee to work with them. The student and committee must plan research together to yield some small but significant new knowledge. The whole committee must review and approve the research plan. Then the student must work through and complete that research plan. And the committee must aid and guide their efforts. Finally, the committee has to review and approve the student's resulting dissertation. That's a lot of work. It's a big investment for the student, a big investment for the university. But universities, or any communities of scholars, can't long survive without new scholars. So the work must be done. That brings us back to the top of our discussion. Why was our attention pointed to doctoral efforts? Why? Because those are concerted team efforts to push beyond repetition and get to verifiable progress. 2, why were a bus driver and a DJ mentioned? Because without a vehicle and a skilled operator, our team is not going anywhere. And without a harmonious rhythm, we won't have a team to go anywhere. 3, why question what is WOSE? Why dig back into our past? Why concern ourselves with all those things behind us? Because, as Malcolm said, of all our studies, it is history that is best qualified to reward our research. Why then do we emphasize our collective work and our responsibilities? Because, as Maulana said, all great things are collectively produced. If our aim is to do great things, we must start with our collection, with gathering our people, with creating the teams to do that work. And finally, why is it Umoja is the first principle of the Nguzo Saba? We already said that, because unity is the foundation for all our principles and all that we do. Without unity, nothing great is even possible. And so we are ever called to pull together. Harambe! Harambe! Harambe!
Harambe! Yes. Yes. Let's pull together. Give thanks and praise for that. Yes, yes, indeed. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Minister, for that message. Thank you for your diligence and for pointing out that, the bus driver makes sure that everybody gets there right. I happen to know, I'm sure Minister Makalisa will be upset with me for saying this, but when you're a bus driver at AC Transit, sometimes you get abused. you know. And one time, somebody, as they were leaving the bus, spit on Minister Makalith. And then ran off the bus, and Minister Makalisi got up and tackled him. You know, so you just can't walk over Minister Makalisi. I'm sure he'll get back to me for saying that, but it's those little things that make me appreciate him more. And I just want to say that Minister Makalisi was a journalism major in college. And that's why we had the Zamani newspaper, and had articles every week, and we would mail out 15,000 newspapers a month. That's back that's back, you know, before all of this technology. And I also want to add, forgive me for saying this, but Minister Calhoun was not just a DJ. He was the program director of KSOL. And he hired one of my favorite DJs, Nick Harper. So I just wanted to add that. So we had some heavyweight people, and one of the things that Minister Reverend J. Alfred Smith said at the anniversary, when he gave the message at the first anniversary of Wolsey Community, he says, he used the passage, and there were giants in those days. And Makalisi and Bill were giants to step out like they did in 1980. Consider the situations that were going on. We had the Bay Area had just experienced Jim Jones, and so people were hesitant to join something new like Wose. Woos, is that Muslim? You know, the people couldn't deal with it. And I want to thank you, Minister Bill, for giving us that message today and reminding us, perhaps that should be our theme. What is Wose? Not only historically in the ancient times, not only historically in the last 44 years, but what is Wose in terms of family, community, nation, and race? Give thanks for that message today. And we extend the invitation to you today. If you're not already a member, you want to be an official member, if you want to just join again, we extend the invitation to you today. I'm going to play a song, and then when we come in, I see Minister Malley on today, which I'm glad that Minister Malley is here. When this song ends, we'll start again. All right. All right, sisters and brothers. Let's see. I see something in the chat. Is that someone? All right. Good, thanks. The message was proclaimed in a magnificent and powerful way. Thank you, Minister Bill Johnson, for giving us that message and keeping us on the theme that Baba Jahi started. What is Wose? That's a question we all need to ask ourselves and answer ourselves, because we're all PhD students in the sacred African way. All right. We're all PhD candidates in the sacred African way. As I look at Brother Jerry, I look at Brother John, Sebastian, Minister Malley, Sister Saraswati, Brother Iman, Brother Ed, Lucas, Chandra. We're so glad that you're with us today, Chandra. You just don't know. We love young people coming and being a part of our movement. Baba Jeff, thank you for your diligence. All of you that are here. Minister Makalisa, he probably not going to show up because I said that thing about the tackling. Anyway, now if there's no further business to discuss, Baba Jeff has a great ending. Lift every voice and sing. Mama Keisha, I don't know if we're singing all verses, but be patient with us, okay? We'll get it. We'll get it together. All right.
Every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who has brought us thus far on the way, Thou who has light and might, let us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. True to our God, true to our native land.
Minister, why don't you close us out?
With every head bowed and every eye closed, please join us in thanking Amun-Ra for bringing us here today, whole and sound, to share the way, to share the way of Amun-Ra, to share our support for ourselves and our community in living the way. Amun-Ra, we thank you. We ask you to extend your blessings to those who could not be with us today. We thank you again. Amen. Ashe. Amen. Ashe.